quick little thought, little video for patrons. I always like to play the game, you know, what if the disaster struck, you know, the zombies came, the apocalypse came, what would I do to survive right now? Well, right now I'd get out of the woods. I'd eventually freeze to death out here. But for food sources, in the winter right now, we're covered up in snow, so there's, you know, it's hard to get to the roots of things, even if you can, you know, find them. There's not a lot of berries out. I just, depending on when videos come out, I'll just have had a video about the Nandina and the Oregon grape, the berberines plants. So, I mean, there's some berries, although I don't expect those to have a lot of calories, but you know, we could harvest some of those for sure. I think really, well, I'd keep my eyes out for hackberries, because those actually taste pretty good. Or hackberry or sugarberry. It's a tree. It has a warty bark, kind of these corky warts on the trunk and the stems. Woo! Asymmetrical leaf base. Oh, I've got a video about this. I'm gonna bet that the hackberries have all been eaten by now by the little forest critters, but if I could find any of those, I'd definitely get them. But mainly, if I'm just off the top of my head thinking where's a good food source, I mean, excluding hunting deer and, you know, deer and things, for a plant, I would say pine trees. They're easy to identify because they're evergreen, so you don't have to do it by the bark, even though pine tree bark's pretty distinctive. The inner bark is edible, and it's really pretty nutritious. Probably it has more nutrients in the spring when the sap starts flowing back up and it gets more sugars in it, but it's still a really good food. It's not too, if you have the right tools, it's not too difficult to harvest, so it's probably a net positive in calories. If you were doing it with, you know, just a sharp rock, it might not be. You could do elms that way too. Actually, this time of year, we should have some little buds coming out on the elm trees, because they usually start in early spring. I was gonna see if I had one right here. But you can eat the elm buds, maple buds if you have any of those. Those are fine too. You look like an elm. This is a winged elm. They're real easy to identify even without leaves because they have the little wings. Yeah, little bitty, the little starts. Gosh, there's not much there, but you can't eat those. But better would be the inner bark. The inner bark's actually real nutritious. And we have these winged elms everywhere. They're like a trash tree. They're considered that around here. So you could get a bunch of them. So yeah, I think that would be my strategy. Now this is that Chinese privet, and it will make a berry, a very tempting berry that has a bunch of them. But I do not currently know of any way to eat those. If I find something, I'll be sure and let you know. As far as I know, there's nothing edible about it. It's a bummer because they're everywhere. I'm kind of curious. I was just thinking, actually, as I was walking up here, I wonder if you could do oak bark the same as you do with the elms and the pines, if you leach the tannins out, just like you would do with the tannin with the acorns. I've never heard of anybody doing that. I'm kind of curious if that would make it edible, though. Well, if I discover anything about that, I'll let you know. Okay, so that was my thought. It's so beautiful. I would not try to get calories by eating snow. All right, well, I'm gonna go find my truck and head back home. See you later.